If you clicked on this video to find out whether Adele really shut Meghan Markle down again and whether the drama at Kris Jenner's party was truly as wild as people are whispering, buckle up because yes, you're about to get the whole story. Exactly the way Hollywood insiders described it. And spoiler alert, what went down was even frostier, even sharper, and even more humiliating than anyone expected. Meghan walked in expecting a victory lap, but she walked into a social storm she did not see coming. Anyone who thought Meghan's grand re-entrance into Hollywood was finally taking shape probably needs to settle into their seat, because tonight's tea could melt metal. This wasn't gentle shade. This wasn't subtle tension. This was ice-cold dismissal delivered with the kind of easy, unbothered precision only one woman can deliver. Adele, the powerhouse vocalist, the queen of not tolerating nonsense, the woman who can silence a room just by raising an eyebrow, didn't simply brush past Meghan. She created an atmosphere. People swear they literally felt the room temperature change when she realized Meghan was trying to walk up to her. Imagine Jeff Bezos's $165 million Beverly Hills estate glowing like a jewel box, every inch polished, every corner shimmering under golden lights. Guests rolling up like it's a secret after-party for the Oscars, limos, security teams, designer gowns, glitter everywhere. The kind of environment where every conversation is a networking opportunity and every smile is a power move. Then Meghan arrives, dressed like she's on the poster for the next Bond film, every detail deliberate, every step radiating confidence. She looked like she believed this was finally her night to shine, her Hollywood approval moment. But Hollywood had other plans. Because across the room, Adele was surrounded by actual A-list royalty, laughing, sipping her drink, glowing in the carefree way only someone completely secure in her status can glow. And she refused to give Meghan a single ounce of attention. No quick glance. No polite smile. No neutral nod. Not even fake nice eye contact. She treated Meghan's presence like it was background noise. And the reaction? Immediate whispers, sudden side eyes, ripple of shock through the crowd. And remember, this wasn't even their first awkward encounter. This time, the snub happened right in front of the very people Meghan's been working overtime to impress. But honestly, the tension started from the moment Meghan and Harry stepped out of their car. Meghan emerged beaming, posing without posing, her dress fitting like it had been sewn onto her minutes earlier. She walked in like she was the star everyone had been waiting for. Harry, though? He stepped out looking like he'd rather be literally anywhere else. Shoulders tight, jaw tense, eyes darting. He looked like he was being escorted into a job interview he did not apply for. And the crowd's reaction.
Don't you miss that feeling, getting lost in a story that feels like it was written just for you? If your heart needs a little magic, click on the link in I-button or in the description or pinned comment. It's waiting at infowebster.com. Go feel something again.
Action wasn't admiration. Conversations paused, eyes flicked over, expressions tightened. You know that awkward moment when someone enters a room and you can feel the energy tilt? That's what this was. Not excitement. Not curiosity. More like, oh, they actually came. Exactly the opposite of what Meghan imagined for her big Hollywood redemption stage. And make no mistake, this wasn't just a birthday party. It was Kris Jenner's 70th, which basically means the guest list was an Olympics-level gathering of power players. Wealthy, famous, influential, the sort of room Meghan desperately wants to claim as her home turf. But the atmosphere around her? Pure frost. And in that icy mix were two women Meghan desperately wished she could charm, Martha Stewart and Mariah Carey. Women who don't have to lift a finger to shade someone. Their silence alone can deliver a full monologue. Mariah had already made her stance known weeks earlier. When someone casually asked whether she'd met any royals, she skipped right over Meghan's name and instead mentioned Fergie, someone who hasn't been front-page royal news in decades. The internet caught the shade instantly. So now picture Meghan standing a few feet from Mariah, hoping for recognition, or at least a basic hello. Mariah glided around her like Meghan was a decorative plant near the buffet table. No nod. No flicker of acknowledgement. Nothing. Then there was Martha Stewart, who doesn't do dramatic arguments, but specializes in the slow burn, velvet-wrapped style of shade. She once politely said she hoped Meghan knew what she was doing. In Martha speak, that's essentially, I'm pretty sure she has no idea what she's doing. Martha, who built her empire through decades of reinvention and reinvestment, wasn't exactly eager to mingle with someone who built hers on interviews, drama, and Netflix deals. So Meghan began drifting through the crowd, trying to hold her smile, trying to look unbothered, searching for someone, anyone, who wasn't recoiling or avoiding eye contact. And somehow, in her mind, the person who might break the wall was Adele. Sweet, hopeful Meghan. Because here comes the moment social media went nuclear over. Adele rarely shows up to big LA parties. She doesn't crave the glitz. She doesn't need validation. She shows up only when she genuinely respects the host. So her presence alone turned heads. And Meghan saw her across the room and thought this was her chance. Harry probably thought the same, considering he actually had a warm rapport with Adele back in London. So they made their way toward her. Witnesses swear the atmosphere shifted. Adele suddenly leaned into her conversation with someone else, keeping her back half-turned, lifting her drink, and effortlessly repositioning her body in a way that maintained a clear boundary. She didn't even glance in their direction. Meghan slowed her steps, waiting for any opening. Harry paused, clearly expecting Adele to give him one of those familiar, friendly nods he used to get. It never came. Adele simply continued chatting, smiling, glowing, entirely uninterested in whatever approach Meghan was attempting. And that lack of effort, that effortless dismissal, cut deeper than any dramatic confrontation could have. It was clarity. It was a line in the sand. It was Adele quietly saying, "You are not in my circle. Please stop trying." And while all of this awkwardness unfolded under Beverly Hills chandeliers, something symbolic was happening across the ocean. In London, Prince George was stepping into a meaningful role at Remembrance Sunday, standing tall, composed, and already showing the early signs of a future king. Meanwhile, Harry was standing alone near Kris Jenner's indoor fountain, staring at the colored lights on the water like he wanted to be anywhere else, maybe even back home in Montecito, hiding under a blanket. One prince rising gracefully into duty, the other wandering around a Hollywood mansion filled with disco lighting and influencers. The contrast was brutal. And then the photos hit the internet. People immediately noticed the mismatch between Harry and Meghan's energy. Meghan was posing, glowing, performing. Harry looked exhausted, deflated, borderline lost. And people started asking the big question, why do they look like they're living two totally different evenings? Hollywood insiders began whispering too. They said this night didn't just reveal tension, it pulled back the curtain on deeper cracks. Misaligned goals, different ambitions, emotional distance that a red carpet cannot hide. And the industry's reaction was unmistakable. Hollywood isn't angry at them. Hollywood is simply unimpressed. And boredom is the one thing this town never forgives. Netflix deals slipping. Spotify fully walking away. Meghan's lifestyle brand delayed again. Harry's memoir Backlash still floating in people's minds. No major projects. No big wins. Too much drama, not enough results. And in a town where relevance is currency, the couple's stock isn't rising, it's fading. Adele's snub wasn't just a moment. It was a message. You can't push your way into this level of Hollywood. You have to be invited. And tonight, Meghan absolutely wasn't. Still, she kept trying. She lingered near groups, smiled wider, repositioned herself as if waiting for someone powerful to wave her over. But people simply adjusted their formations, stepping closer to each other, closing the circles, giving her no space to slide in. It wasn't loud rejection. It was quiet, polite exclusion, the kind that hurts more because nobody says anything. They just show you exactly where you don't belong. Harry saw it. His face said everything. At one point, he stood off to the side, staring at the glowing pool like it was a portal to escape through. Meghan nudged him a few times, trying to pull him back into her fantasy of belonging. But the disappointment on his face wasn't subtle. It was the look of a man realizing the dream he uprooted his life for isn't turning into the future he imagined. And when they finally left, Meghan kept her chin high for the cameras. But people close to the situation say the moment the car door closed, the smile vanished. Because even she knew what the night revealed. It didn't elevate her standing. It exposed it. It made clear that the Hollywood fantasy she keeps chasing is slipping further and further away. And Adele, without raising her voice or delivering a single harsh word, ended up being the one who made that reality impossible for Meghan to ignore.